This was always a series I really wanted to get into audiobook form because A, the story itself, from all my stories, this one has resonated the most with readers. But B, because it's a single person's voice, it's a really powerful way to tell a story, and the audiobook format's just so intimate that, yeah, I've always wanted to do this series.
Having been an actor for most of my life and studied and worked and done audiobooks in the past, the idea of doing another audiobook is appealing to me.
Although it'd be probably interesting to have the writer read it, I just think it'll be a far better, more rounded, totally immersive experience if someone who has the skills to deliver a performance as Jack would actually do the job.
So you and I got together and had a chat.
We had a pub meeting, which is the best place to have a meeting about writing. And yeah, you said you were interested.
And I read the books.
Maintain that interest, which was great because that would have been really awkward otherwise. But then you put together a demo of Jack.
Everyone just stared in silence at the rock and the vapor trail until it disappeared out of sight high over the hills. The whole thing couldn't have lasted more than 5-10 seconds.
And I was like, yeah, that's like, I can see this thing now, and I think you felt the same.
I've got a fairly light, high voice for a fully grown man, so it fits that I can read a 16-year-old. But I guess I'll bring a maturity to it as well, which is kind of what happens to this character throughout the series, as he goes from quite young and naive all the way through to someone who's quite worldly and has that sense of maturity about him.
After that, it became a matter of trying to find the time to do this thing.
That I was working 80+ hours every week. There was no chance I was going to get to do this for months, even though you and I have talked about it for a while. But the interest has been there, and there's been this sort of bubble to get it going. And COVID-19 hits, the job goes, heaps of free time. There's kind of this apocalyptic sense as you're walking around in the neighbourhood.
It's a really strange thing. Right now, we are in a world outside that's in an apocalypse. We've got people lining up at shops.
Everyone's wearing gloves and masks and hiding from each other and turning away and doing everything they can to avoid contact.
But the last few weeks I've been panic buying.
And it's very similar to what's happening in the book. You're either avoiding people or you're hunting people.
Society, the way it interacts with each other has totally changed. Messages between media and the government, and what is this thing, and does anyone really know where it's headed? And
the fact that we're living in this apocalyptic style of world at the moment, about to do an audiobook that is apocalyptic by title. So it's pretty perfect, actually. Does that answer the question?
This is like where the Apocalypse series starts. This is the first 20 or 30 pages of the book. So there's this whole surreal element too about out there are things that are happening that we're talking about in this fiction world, but it's, yeah, it's actually kind of sort of happening. Except in Jack's world, obviously it goes whole next level, and there's no coming back from that. But yeah, here we are. Studios here, it's pretty exciting. It sounds pretty soundproof in there, so yeah, basically a bunch of mattresses and sheets and all sorts of things are going into it, and yeah, so hopefully we've got a nice dulled sound for the space, and yeah, homegrown studio. Let's put it to use. This has been randomly surprised.
Hello!
There you go.
Hiya.
Good, fill it up.
COVID-19. With this one, we can actually attach the microphone to this, to this. All right, so I guess it would go something like this. Wednesday, April 10, 2014. So it's 5 a.m. and I'm not even close to tired, even without the Red Bulls. And I've started a new diary whenever I want, which could come in handy if I live through the weekend. If anyone does.
Build a space that we really like. We've run some tests in there. The sound is great. So we're good to go with our own recording studio. So bring it on.
Good. Yeah, it feels good. You know, this space, as you can see, it's dense with mattresses and blankets and pillows and stuff. So it feels like a dead sound area, which is obviously what you want. You don't want anything to bounce. So I'll record straight onto my laptop, which is sitting over here, and that will go straight into the cloud. And then from the cloud, Matt will download it into his computer, and he will be able to edit it. This character is very similar to me, especially in the sense that he's he's got this kind of tenacity and this willingness to keep going through adversity. And you know, when you're an actor, you spend most of your life, or most actors spend their lives struggling for the next job, working towards getting the next job, trying to sharpen their tools and get themselves to a place where they can achieve the next gig. And this character very much lives that life. He's trying to survive. What do I do next? How do I plan? How do I survive this next period of time? For me, at this point, it's about finding Jack, and that will happen through the first, I don't know, few days of doing this. And I would say by the middle of the book, I'll go, I wish I could go back and start again, because I really have a feeling for it now. But that actually will tell the story as well. I think what's important is that Jack has the life, as well as me having the life of Jack within the book. And so you'll hear Jack develop, and you'll hopefully really start to empathise with Jack as the book goes along, because you'll start to feel like you're a part of his world. And that'll happen because I become more a part of his world. All right, so I think that's it's time for me to put my head down and start jacking it up. Oh, hang on, jacking it off. No. Focusing. All right, let's go.